a handful of technology companies effectively seizing control of the American public square is now our own present reality. Against them, this president fights for you, as he always has and as he always will.
All right, that was the head of the America First Policy Institute, Brooke Rollins, addressing the growing concerns about the power big tech has over the American people every single day. Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. I'm Rob Finnerty. Former President Donald Trump has filed a class action lawsuit against tech giants Google, Twitter, and Facebook for censorship after they banned and suspended all of his accounts following the January 6 protests at the U.S. Capitol. For more on all this, I want to welcome in Brooke Rollins. She was right there on stage yesterday next to the president when that announcement was made. Brooke, good morning.
Good morning, Rob. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. This lawsuit, and I think it's so important that the president, the former president of the United States, is the one who's literally going to be drawing attention to this. The lawsuit argues that these platforms have censored Americans, and it uses misguided reliance on Section 230. I don't understand it. Why? 100 years ago, Ford only wanted Ford to be the one making cars. Now there are literally hundreds of automakers around the world, and everybody's making plenty of money. Why can't we have 6 or 7 Facebooks?
Well, it is interesting. And, you talk about Section 230, which most Americans, for good reason, probably have never heard of Section 230, but it has become an albatross hanging around the neck of the First Amendment. I mean, this country was based on freedom of speech. And what happened is Section 230 passed in 1996 before I think Mark Zuckerberg was even in middle school, maybe,
right.
With the concept of how do we protect child pornography, human trafficking, the just brand new concept of the internet. Well, now it's being used to give power, basically, and immunity to these huge companies. And you're right, a monopoly on our public town square. And they are deciding whose voices that get to be heard on issues like critical race theory, on issues like illegal immigration, on issues like COVID and mask wearing and hydroxychloroquine. I mean, these are really important issues to the American people. And they have basically seized the power to decide who gets to say what and who gets to hear that message.
Isn't it so interesting how far we've come in such a short period of time? A year and a half ago, you couldn't even talk about this stuff. Now it's all, well, oh, wait, maybe it does work. Maybe it's not good for you. Maybe we're learning all of this. But you're right, 1996 was the Stone Age when it comes to the internet. We were still using Netscape Navigator back then. President Trump, right? President Trump had a very strong message for the leaders of these big tech companies yesterday. Take a listen.
In America, we recognize that the freedom to speak our minds and express the truth that is our heart, really, that's really a big chunk of our heart. It is our heart. Is not granted to us by government. It's given to us by God, and no one should have the power to take that right away.
So, Brooke, we've seen lawsuits like this in the past, and they've failed. What's different this time?
Well, this time what's different, and this is why I'm so proud of President Trump. I mean, how unprecedented and historical that a former president of the United States says, you know what, if they could do this to me, a sitting president, then they can do it to anyone. And I have the resources and the megaphone to say it's not okay. So the difference here is we've got a class action with some of the best attorneys in the country who know how to use the class action to gather the thousands of Americans who've been censored and say no more. The suit was filed in the Southern District of Florida. It will then go to the 11th Circuit and then to the Supreme Court. And for those of your viewers that sort of follow these things, they will know this, that the Supreme Court has basically been asking for this sort of a case for the last few years. And while they have been saying, come to us and bring us a fact scenario that we can basically update and make a decision on what is and is not constitutional.
I am stunned that this is not a more bipartisan effort, because they might be silencing and censoring conservative voices now, but if Democrats think they are not coming for them at some point down the road, I think they're wrong. Do you think this makes it all the way to the Supreme Court?
I believe it does. Now, I will say I am an attorney. I was a federal clerk. I worked for a big law firm, but it's been a very, very long time. But I will not be litigating the case. But I will say that our team of attorneys thinks it is a very compelling case. Alan Dershowitz was on TV last night talking about how this is the most important First Amendment case in 100 years. That's from Alan Dershowitz. We've got some of the best lawyers in the country who believe that while not a home run, who believe that we will be able to take this all the way and get a decision that this country needs in order to survive for the next 250 years.
The beautiful thing about the Supreme Court is it doesn't matter how much money you have. They will take up any case if they think the case merits their attention. But let's be honest. Specifically speaking, Mark Zuckerberg is one of the wealthiest people on the planet. A lot of people don't realize that Facebook also owns Instagram. Alphabet Inc., which owns Google, they also control YouTube. Twitter is run basically by one person, Jack Dorsey, who also has deep pockets. Are you afraid that these companies can just outspend you?
Well, it's funny. Yesterday, my family and friends and all the people that I worked with in the White House with the president for almost his entire administration said, "This is amazing. Thank you for finally doing something. We're going on offense for the first time." And I said, I believe that's right. And I believe in my heart that we will have the right answer for America. But make no mistake, this is David suing Goliath. I mean, there is no doubt about it. The hundreds of attorneys that they will be able to put on this case is a little, it's important for us to understand. But having said that, again, the team of lawyers that have been assembled for this case on behalf of the American people, conservatives, we've always had truth and the righteousness of liberty and freedom on our side, and I believe we will prevail. I
don't think I've ever heard the former president referred to as David. I assume that he would be David. I think because of who Donald Trump is, president of the United States, I think this is Goliath suing Goliath. And that's why I think this might make it all the way.
And I'm sure President Trump would agree with you completely.
Right. All right. Brooke Rollins, good luck with the case. Please come back and see us. Keep us posted on your progress.
I will. Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.